Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman in for Richard French. The Democratic convention wraps up and Hillary Clinton will step up and formally accept the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. It's a historic occasion. She is the first female nominee of a major party in American history. Could be the biggest speech of her life, and that in a lifetime of delivering speeches. Karen Travers is live at the convention with the very latest. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening. All week we've heard people talk about Hillary Clinton, her toughness, her experience, her agenda for America. Well, tonight we'll finally hear from Hillary Clinton herself, telling Americans don't vote based on fear, but pick a candidate who can lead during rocky times. Americans have known Hillary Clinton for decades.
Hello!
Tonight she makes history. The spotlight is all hers in the biggest speech of her life. Clinton outlining what she says are the stakes in this election. She'll be introduced by her daughter Chelsea. Aides say she'll focus on the theme of stronger together and won't shy away from going after Donald Trump.
The country really is at a point they're frustrated, they're afraid, they're anxious, and somebody needs to meet them there and then take them to hope.
And last night, that hug. One-time rivals, then partners, now focused on building on the last 8 years. Obama telling Clinton, "I'm so proud." All week, Clinton could count on Democratic all-stars to deliver devastating blows.
Our strength, our greatness, does not depend on Donald Trump.
He's trying to tell us he cares about the middle class. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
And now Trump trying to explain what he meant when he encouraged Russian hackers to tap into and expose Clinton's emails from her time as Secretary of State.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Trump this morning on Fox.
And when I'm being sarcastic.
And tonight, Hillary Clinton will draw on her decades of experience in public service and the many people she's met along the way to make her case for what she'll achieve as president. This is her biggest opportunity to tell America, trust me to take this country forward. Reporting live from Philadelphia, Karen Travers, ABC News. Back to you.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. So Hillary will make her case tonight. Tuesday night, Bill Clinton did the same.
This is a really important point for you to take out of this convention. If you believe in making change from the bottom up, if you believe the measure of change is how many people's lives are better, you know it's hard and some people think it's boring. Speeches like this are fun. Actually doing the work is hard. So people say, well, we need to change. She's been around a long time, she sure has. And she's sure been worth every single year she's put into making people's lives better.
We also caught up with somebody else who knows Hillary Clinton pretty well, that Congresswoman Nita Lowey, and asked her about Hillary. The New York Congresswoman is a friend and supporter of Hillary's and also a friend of our show. Here's what the Congresswoman had to say.
I don't understand why her experience, her warmth, her smile doesn't get across, but after this whole parade of great speakers who know what's needed for the future, I have confidence that Hillary Clinton will knock it out of the ballpark, they say, make a great speech and be the first woman president of the United States of America.
All right, let's get to our panel for tonight. We're joined by former Democratic New Jersey Congressman Steve Rothman, Dominic Carter, political journalist and author, and conservative strategist Bill O'Reilly. And Congressman, you've worked with Hillary Clinton. You've known Hillary Clinton for a long time. First of all, the argument we got from Bill Clinton that she might not be the glitziest, she might not be the most dynamic public speaker, but she's a worker who gets the job done when nobody's looking. True?
True. I think the thing she has to do tonight is not shout. There are a lot of men and women who give speeches who can shout and make it sound great. That is not Secretary Clinton's strong point. Her strong suit is when she speaks with confidence, calmly and directly, and shows the warmth of her personality as well as the decades-long experiences she possesses.
We've heard from a lot of people who've worked with her who know her say she's terrific one-on-one. She's very persuasive. She listens very well. She's very engaged in a one-on-one conversation. But she does seem to be less effective when she's in front of a big audience, and tonight's the biggest audience arguably of her entire professional career. How does she make that transition and give that same persona that she is one-on-one when she's talking to the nation?
Well, again, I think the first thing is not to shout. Second is to relax. She is, as President Obama said, perhaps the most qualified person ever to run for president of the United States in American history. First Lady of Arkansas, First Lady of the United States, U.S. Senator, Secretary of State. That's an extraordinary amount of experience. So she should just be relaxed and confident in the extraordinary measure of her political and governmental resume, which makes Donald Trump's resume pale in comparison.
Bill, she couldn't have asked for a better setup to her speech tonight, given the speeches that we've heard from the podium this week and how well they've been received. But all of that really means very little in the end. She's really got to, nail down this performance tonight.
I think she is. I'm not expecting anything that different from Mrs. Clinton. I think she'll give a good speech. She certainly knows how to deliver one. She's been doing this for a long time. I think the congressman is right. She doesn't want to come across as angry. Certainly, she doesn't need to. I think she needs to walk away with a clean speech, with a hopeful message. The thing that I think that she should be concerned about and her campaign should be concerned about is that at a time where almost 70% of Americans are saying that the country's moving in the wrong direction, is she just more of the same? Is that the takeaway from this convention, that she's just a continuation of the current policies? And I think if they leave it just as that, they do it at their detriment. And they need to she probably needs to introduce some really clear messaging that I don't think is there yet.
Dominic, it would seem odd to describe somebody who's been as well known in the national spotlight as Hillary Clinton for so long as a change agent in a change election. But is Bill right? Is that what she has to do tonight? And how does she go about doing that?
I think piggybacking on the congressman's point, she just needs to be herself. She needs to start with the premise of being herself and making her case to America, explaining why she's running for president, number one, Andrew, and so giving the base something that they can feel energetic about, and also at the same time reaching out. And that hug, like for example, last night, that was one of the truest raw emotions that we've ever seen from the secretary. When her and the president embraced each other. So we need to see some of that. She also needs to give independents a reason to vote for her. But there are several things tonight that are out of her out of her control. What is the California delegation going to do? There are rumors that some of the Bernie Sanders supporters plan on doing something to disrupt the secretary. I hope that's not the case, because it won't help the Democrats. So that's going to be out of her control. That's one of the things that we'll be watching for. What will the Sanders supporters do tonight?
Congressman, does she address the trust deficit that she really does face with the American people? You look at the polls, and 60+% of Americans have doubts about her trustworthiness, and a lot of people don't trust her. Does she mention that? Does she apologize for past mistakes? How does she address her own issues on trustworthiness?
I think she has to show a side of herself that she doesn't often show in public. That is, of a warm, genuine human being, and she is that. It's just she's overly lawyerly, overly defensive, maybe from a lifetime in politics of having to defend her husband or herself. But she really is a very warm, genuine person who's been fighting for social justice issues since she was in law school and since for the last 40 years. And to Bill's point, she has to say she's not a continuation, but her resume is actually different than Barack Obama's. Barack Obama had an extraordinary life story. I think he's done a wonderful job as president, not perfect, but her resume is different, and she can make that distinction and show why she'll be a different president.
But towards that point, Bill, if she offers herself as a third term for Barack Obama, is that a positive selling point or a negative selling point?
I think that's a negative selling point. I know she has to be, she still has to look out for the progressive wing. She still doesn't want to bleed support to the Green Party candidate, to Jill Stein, which could happen from some of the Bernie Sanders supporters. So she needs to watch her left flank. But at the same time, I think exactly right. She does not want to present herself as a third term of the president. Whether you like him or not, the numbers are there that a preponderance of Americans think we're moving in the wrong direction. And I think falling into that trap would be wrong. the question is whether it's enough for her to show stability, as in contrast to Donald Trump, that some people worry about his temperament as a prospective president. She needs to show that stability, certainly, but I think she has to show a little bit extra. I don't think her message is quite there yet. Trump has a message, like it or not, he's got one. I'm not sure she has it yet.
Dominic, the general way that most of the speeches we've seen have been a little personal story at the beginning, a little bit of here are the policies that that we're going to push for, and then some bashing of Donald Trump. Do you think we still get that mix from Hillary Clinton
Well, the only
tonight?
one that did that was Bill Clinton. I don't think that most of the speeches were personal in the beginning. I do agree with your premise that, and when you mention the word personal, she's definitely got to be personal, but she's in a no-win situation. Think about this. If she comes across as strong and tough, that'll turn off perhaps some that are expecting the first woman to make history to, I don't want to say act like a woman, but to not come across as hard. She's in a very tough position. And so that's why I think she needs to just be herself and let the guard down. I think that's what you were alluding to. Someone was alluding to a second ago. Let the guard down. Speak from the heart, even though every word has been gone over 1,000,000 times. But tell us the story of Hillary Clinton along the lines of what Bill Clinton did, of what the person that we don't know, the fighter throughout the years, in the early years.
Well, while we still don't know what she's going to talk about exactly, we might get an idea of how long she's going to talk when she speaks. Check this out. If you go through the speaking times of the last two presidents who were on the podium this week, Bill Clinton, the 42nd president of the United States, spoke for 42 minutes. Barack Obama, the 44th president of the United States, spoke for 44 minutes. Anybody want to take bets that Hillary Clinton speaks for exactly 45 minutes tonight, or that that's how they've timed out their speech?
I'm not taking the bet.
We shall find out.
And you can't time that out because you can't time the applause.
You can factor in some of the applause breaks. You get some idea. All right, up next, our own Richard French is live in Philadelphia. But first, Rich caught up with former New York City Council Speaker Christine Quinn.
I think it's going great. I mean, I can't really stop smiling since the night that we nominated Hillary. I thought everyone who spoke last night, Joe Biden, Mike Bloomberg, and especially the president, hit it out of the park. You know, and I think last night in particular was really about reminding middle class and lower income Americans about all Hillary has done for them and will do for them.